If your engine bogs down when leaning forward, it is probably the carburetor. When the carburetor is not 100% tuned right, and the metering chamber is in its most top position when leaning forward, it's very likely it gets flooded and the engine's RPM drops or even dies. This is also a very common issue with small two-stroke engines using membrane carburetors.
What the fuck?
Don't worry, there is a fix for this. Remove the air filter and the carburetor. Detach all the fuel lines and the adapter for the throttle wire. Cover the hole down to the reed valves so you don't accidentally drop something into the engine. Remove the throttle wire from the adapter plate. This is my custom-made adapter, which is also separated from the throttle plate. Remove the screws from the metering chamber lid and check the fork height over the base plate. The diaphragm should look undamaged, not too soft and not too stiff. The lifting fork should not have too much play at the inlet needle. Adjust if necessarily. Pop-off pressure should be within limits, 14 to 19 psi. Try a shorter metering level spring or cut the original spring with a nail clipper in very short increments between testing. The spring should be between 13 to 15 millimeters. Warning: do not consider adjusting the pop-off pressure or adjusting the high needle unless a cylinder heat temperature gauge is installed. Reassemble the metering chamber lid. Remove the nut or C-clip for the throttle shaft and slide out the butterfly valve. Be very careful when you remove the throttle valve. Sometimes it sits very tight. Use a pair of pliers with protective paper around the jaws so you don't damage the plate. Gently remove the C-clip for the throttle swivel. Now, make a template for the new throttle arm extension by rotating the carburetor 180 degrees. The throttle arm needs to be adjusted to adapt for the new pulling angle of the throttle wire. The distance from the shaft center should be equally on both sides to where you drill the new hole. It's very important not to change the original distance in order to keep the same travel ratio movement of the throttle level and the throttle handle. Always try out with different templates before making the final piece in metal. In this case, the throttle arm will jam between the carburetor mount and the crankcase. We need to make a spacer of about 10 millimeters to raise the arm so it gets more space to rotate freely. Measure the distance between the screws that holds the carburetor and the venturi diameter. Make a model in your CAD application of choice. Load the data in your printer and print the spacer. Finished product. Just need some polish to get rid of the rough edges and sand it down to get a 100% flat surface on both ends. The spacer mounted in place. Check for free movement of the throttle arm. Now we need a new adapter to the throttle wire. Make one from whatever piece of scrap that will do the job. Preferable aluminum. Light and easy to bend for your needs. Cut, bend, drill, and make adjustments for your specific engine. Make an opening for the throttle wire. Bend the end of the adapter for the correct angle needed. Use the old adapter as a template when you drill the holes on your new custom-made adapter plate. Cut it furthermore if needed. In this case, to fit under the carburetor. Now we need to make the final throttle arm extension piece. It must be made of steel for minimum friction between the swivel mechanism. Make sure you secure the extension arm, so the new swivel position is at the same distance from the shaft center as before the modification. Reassemble the shaft with the new arm extension. After testing, everything works fine. Spot weld the extension arm in its final position. Put everything together again in its final destination. Test everything very thoroughly. Make sure the arm can rotate freely, so there is no risk of the throttle get stuck in any position. The wire must pull the throttle arm perpendicular to the shaft. Otherwise, it may cause unnecessarily stress and risk breaking the arm in the long run. Now test the engine thoroughly on the ground. Make sure it runs fine even when tilting forward. Now it's not as dependent on a 100% correct tuned carburetor. It will run just as fine even when you tilt it 90 degrees forward. No more the need of blipping the throttle when picking up the risers from the ground. The RPM will stay the same at idle, no matter if you are slightly off with the low needle, pop-off pressure, or the lifting fork position over the base plate.